Broads Media.
What is going on, everybody? Welcome on in to Sports Talk with Broads. The Birds are 2-0, baby. That's the most important stat, and that's the most important takeaway from this effort. If you are upset and if you are bitching and complaining and you hate it, God bless your soul. You came to the wrong show because that's not what I'm about to do. I'll express some of my discomfort. Okay, I don't like the fact that the passing game isn't sharp yet, but I understand that while they figure it out, and while Brian Johnson is starting his NFL career as an OC, he had to go through a gauntlet of Bill Belichick on the road and Brian Flores, two defensive minds that have seen a ton of football, caught a lot of games, and have a lot of experience in this league, and he does not yet, so he's trying to figure it out. And while we definitely need more explosive plays in the passing game, they dominated on the ground. And you can use that to your advantage in a ton of matchups. Your offensive line can eat you up, create holes, and DeAndre Swift will be a monster. I have no idea how he barely had any touches in week 1. It's unacceptable when Swift has this level of gross skill in his body. 175 yards, a tough run nonstop. Whenever you take him to the ground, he'll meet you there. He'll lower his shoulder. It's a tackle you have to earn. So I love it. He finally gets into the end zone more than just the tush push from Jalen Hurts. He does get rewarded. It was something special to see them kill Minnesota that easily in that area, and you can use that blueprint in other games. The one thing I hated about it is when A.J. Brown was showed on the sidelines unhappy with some of the targets, and it seemed like, okay, the next drive, we are focusing on that. And then Jalen Hurts ends up taking some sacks, and then now they're at a field goal position. Don't feel obligated just to make A.J. Brown happy. Yeah, it looked like there was some controversy there on the sidelines, and we've seen that before with A.J. Brown, and I absolutely 1,000% think that there was influence on some of the play calling. For the most part, though, Brian Johnson and Jalen Hurts stick to his guns, and this is working. I will stay with it outside of that one drive, but it was a long drive. You kept your offense on the field. To come up with 0 points is egregious. Just like coming up with 3 points in the first drive. Yo, Jalen, you have to hit Devontae Smith in stride. You can't have him turning around and then mossing the defender by resetting himself and high-pointing the football. You get 3. No. We need 7. It's the first drive of the game. You're at home. You need 7. Make this team play from behind, because as you saw, they'll turn the ball over. That was one of the sloppiest first halves I can remember. The ball was flying everywhere. Now, credit to, guys like Josh Sweat who get to the quarterback to start the third quarter. Jordan Davis is being a force. Seriously, nobody thought that he'd be incorporating this level of monster already. Not me. Not this. This is, oh man, he might have a different gear than I anticipated, and I thought a lot of this kid. I thought very highly of him eating up space and doing some things that are not necessarily sexy but important and valuable. Now he's doing the sexy stuff too, which is great, but Sweat and Jalen Carter's name, I love hearing it, man. I do. I love hearing it, and I love seeing it. And, look, Edmonds on the Justin Jefferson play, he made it happen when there was the touchback that occurred. Massive. You end up landing a 61-yard field goal right before the half. Good for you, Jake Elliott. Yeah, look, they ran the ball and then used the timeouts, and you don't really envision it that way. You normally would see in your head when you're thinking about the possibility of snagging some points before half. You air it out. You let your receiver make plays. You put the ball in your playmaker's hands. Someone like Dallas Goedert, who was unfortunate and didn't have much say in game 1, maybe there'd be something in game 2. Not really the case. It was the Devontae Smith show along with DeAndre Swift. Both of those two were dogs and magnificent. Jalen Hurts, he's not seeing the field right. currently. It looked better towards the second half of the game. You get screwed on a horrible non-defensive pass interference call. The A.J. Brown connection should have been a touchdown. Penny had a flag on the play prior, which resulted in a touchdown that they called back. So they did get unlucky, and as much as I'm ripping them apart for maybe steering away from what was working for that one drive before they had to punt the ball back to the Vikings, in theory, the play did work. There were 2 plays that worked. It's just you shot yourself in the foot and then you got hosed by the referee. So it did end up panning out, technically speaking, but you got to find a way in game to fight through those flags and to not have flags, Penny. We've been screaming for you and wondering why you were on the not dressed and you weren't activated. I don't know. Is there a sign? Is there a reason why? Swift is a force, though, man. Keep feeding that kid the rock and let him run around that field as much as he wants to, because he can do some scary things. And you could see the difference. No disrespect to Miles Sanders, but there was times I thought he planted his foot and went upfield and had a different direction, a different step in his game, that we didn't see that same level of hard running from Miles Sanders. That was an element that was missing from his game, and you see it in Swift. So, you had a lot of injuries that you were dealing with. Morrow is in the game. The guy just got cut. Edmonds played a bigger role. The reason I bring this up, it's supposed to be like that with Josh Jobe. I thought I'd have a little more high praise after the game for Josh Jobe, but he did make a couple of mistakes wide open in the end zone, on the left side of the end zone. That was horrible. And who else was it? Was it Addison's touchdown? I know Hawkinson found the end zone a couple times. They utilized the middle of the field, which was not surprising whatsoever. You have a lot of question marks and a lot of inexperienced defenders out there. It was going to be about the defensive line, and can they cause a lot of trouble? Will they force turnovers? Whether it's special teams for the Vikings after a pretty decent return, the ball gets loose. Avonte Maddox had a spectacular punch-out, but that's another body that you lose. So here's Goodrich, and then Goodrich actually forces a fumble too, but because there was a flag on the play, it gets wiped out, and unfortunately the Vikings scored on that. It should have been over earlier, and there was real no sweat, though. I wasn't sweating this one. Even when Minnesota did put points up on the board, the Eagles seemed to be in control the whole time. It just isn't as fluid as we would like it to be currently. While you figure this out, though, you're winning football games, and that's the most important. The Minnesota Vikings were 0-1 going on the road in this environment. You don't think that the mentality, knowing that starting 0-2 is a disaster, is in play? Of course it is. And they got mollywopped. They got annihilated defensively. So good for you, Brian Johnson and the Philadelphia Eagles, for committing to something that was dominant and letting it roll. Yeah, you know what? Our passing game does need help, and we do need to work on it, and we have to be better. Jalen Hurts throwing into double coverage is a mess. He's not feeling it out the right way, passing the ball, and I even think when he keeps it, he's having some confusion. Now, maybe a part of this is he has to readjust. Last year, you have an MVP season. There's a lot of greatness between Nick Sirianni and Shane Steichen. Other teams have a whole offseason to look at the film and to see certain tendencies, and on top of that, the Eagles know it, so they want to dial in something new and change it just a little bit, add some tweaks, and now something's off. You need to recalibrate, and it takes time to do that. As I mentioned, it was definitely cleaner towards the end. There was a miscue defensively, so Devontae Smith gets wide open. Jalen Hurts puts it in the right in the breadbasket, right on the money, and you score a touchdown there to add some points. You need that. You can't miss that. Think about the deflation that happens at the link. If that gets missed, or if the ball's thrown too far, or if it's underthrown, and Devontae Smith has to turn his body again. So let's see where this team is after 4 or 5 games before we make a bigger jump. All I'm saying is let's appreciate the fact that we have a team who's not even playing their best ball yet, and they're beating up on a desperate 0-1 team that knew how important this game was. and you destroyed them. You destroyed them. It was real football. It wasn't fake. It wasn't fluky. The run game, that is, that was pure strategic football. There's times where getting lucky matters. But at the same time, Edmonds making the tackle while Justin Jefferson reaching out and fumbling. Did you get lucky? Did you not get lucky? Is that the football gods? Or is it Edmonds making a play? Edmonds making the tackle is a part of the reason why Justin Jefferson reached out his hands to try and secure the 6. So I'm not going with you got lucky. I'm going with you made a play. You forced the opponent to do something. Your actions had an effect, which then positively helped out your team. So I don't know what this means for Sidney Brown. We'll see some of the snap counts. Maybe they don't feel comfortable with him yet, throwing him in. There's someone who has a bit more of an established career and has played more snaps, so we'll rock with him. I got no issue. It's just questionable on all the injuries currently. Cunningham went to the locker room. Jordan Davis spent some time on the sideline. So good that they are off until Monday Night Football because they need a rest. And that's another huge part of this. Quick turnaround. They sucked in game 1. Sometimes it's easy to simplify the game. It's a short week. We can't overthink things. We weren't very good. What can we do to put ourselves in a great position to win? Let's build off of our strengths. The offensive line is the bread and butter. Let them go to work. Let them win their matchups, and then from there, we'll hand off the rock and see what we can gain. Isn't that part of your DNA of Eagles football, is let the big fellas up front eat and start picking apart and working the opponent down into the ground? So by quarter 3, with 2 minutes to go before you flip to the fourth quarter, they're exhausted because it's nothing but Jason Kelsey and Lane Johnson and Landon Dickerson and Mailata running down your throat. That's part of why you succeed. Let's simplify the game and let's go to our workhorses. They committed to it, and it paid off dividends. That was a massive way to approach the game, and I don't know if that was necessarily everything they thought it would be, meaning they probably did want to see more pass plays. There's no sugarcoating it, so I don't know if that was strictly 1,000%. We are 1,000,000,000% going to commit to this Tuesday, Wednesday, as they were putting together a game plan for the game. And if that's the case, I think I might like that more, because that shows me on the fly we're recognizing something, we'll stick to it. Now, yeah, they wanted to get DeAndre Swift going, for sure. It's not as if they didn't want to run at all. But once they realized how well it was working, and once they saw what was happening, we'll stay to this. I've seen coaches in the past, especially in this era, automatically revert back to passing. Oh, we're up a decent amount of points. Oh, we're up double digits. Oh, A.J. Brown's pissed. Let's start airing it out. Let's give it to all the playmakers. Let's find everybody. Let's get the stat sheets rolling. Let's put up 100 yards for a couple different people. And they're not satisfied. You know it. That's why there's aggravation on the sidelines. That's why you see Nick Sirianni in the face screaming at some coaches. I personally love it. It shows you that they're on the same page as us. They're not stupid. They are very, very smart, intelligent coaches. They're fully aware of what the end goal is. And they know if we continue to play this way in the passing game, we won't reach that end goal. It's how do we, and I'm going to sound just like I'm in that locker room, and I apologize, how do we get better every day? 1% better every day. We're going to improve. And week 2 was better than week 1 on short rest with a ton of injuries. Quez Watkins with the hammy, that's a part of your offense. So there's a lot of questions right now. It's hard to win like that. It's hard to win healthy. Now you're dealing with a ton of guys in the blue tent once again. I hate that blue tent. I can't stand that blue tent. We see that blue tent too much. There's so many guys trying to get in the blue tent that they're waiting on the bench because they can't even get guys in fast enough. There's not enough blue tents. And you won the football game. And you deserve to win this game. It wasn't that you escaped. And I don't know if I would necessarily even call this ugly. Was this ugly? Not really. The run game was lethal. That's serious. That kills 99% of the teams in this league. You will win a ton of football games utilizing that method. It's something that could be sustained. So absolutely, 1,000%, that doesn't get brought into the ugly category. That's a real category. Now, maybe Kirk Cousins, it's a big game, Thursday Night Football, the lights are on, we know the stats, he'll probably fail. Okay, but that's not being unlucky. That's what this league is. Teams play the Minnesota Vikings. They have 16 other games. Other teams get matched up with them. If he's going to fumble or if fumbles happen, it's crazy. Josh Sweat forced a fumble. The punt return won. Edmonds, as I mentioned. Jordan Davis is a monster. The broadcast sucked. That was my takeaway. Al don't have it anymore. He doesn't have his fastball. He needs to hang it the hell up. Called it Veteran Stadium. I didn't even understand half the things they were talking about in the game. Just brutal. What's not brutal, though, is MyBookie, the presenting sponsor here of Sports Talk with Broads. And if you want to start sports betting each night, take a look at the Phils, take a look at the Birds, Monday Night Football. Hell, you have a great slate at 1 o'clock on Sunday. As a bettor, you demand perfection, and MyBookie delivers. So NFL, college football, and a brand new cash-out system gives you the options to bet and win all season long. If the first two legs of your parlay hit, you can cash out early and place another bet, or you can ride the chance at a bigger payday. Join the MyBookie family for an entire season filled with daily odds boosts, same-game parlays, and super contests. So this season, MyBookie has a no-strings-attached cash bonus that lets you deposit and withdraw quickly. Use promo code BROADS on a deposit of $50 or more, and you can receive up to $200 in cash instantly to your MyBookie account. So bet your deposit amount once, and you're ready to withdraw at any time. Again, that's promo code BROADS to claim your cash deposit bonus. You can bet anything, anytime, anywhere, only with MyBookie. Okay, I have NBC Sports Philadelphia up right here in my office, and I see Nick Sirianni speaking. Oh, man, the first thing I see when I reload Twitter is the video of Kirk Cousins dancing on the plane with all that jewelry on and all the chains. Oh, and the caption says 2-0, go Birds, baby, go Birds. Devontae Smith says that he's amazing. He's a bad motherfucker. That's what he said about DeAndre Swift. Yeah, you're damn right he is. I want to see if Nick Sirianni said anything about some of the stuff that happened on the sidelines. Sirianni says you're always trying to put the players in the best position to succeed while doing what you do well. And we do run the ball well. So we went with the notion that we were going to run it a little bit in that set. Okay. When you're 2-0 and you know you're not playing to the best of our abilities, that's when you can make a lot of growth. I agree with that. Conversations we have on the sidelines and in the locker room are private. Y'all don't need to know what we said. Nicky Sirianni, baby. Nicky Sirianni. Darius Slay on Job, Edmonds, and Goodrich. A lot of guys made plays. A lot of guys who haven't been out there before. You'll point out the bad ones because that happened. But it was inevitable that was going to happen. Can they hold it down to a reasonable level knowing that you got cut? Morrow gets cut. Now Morrow is in an important role in your defense. Here you go. Here's Thursday Night Football at home. Good luck. Here's a new coordinator. Here's new play callers. Good luck. Here's Super Bowl aspirations, which sets a different precedent, dude. You're not playing for a team where the expectations are to win 6 games, 7 games, and you have some freedom and some growing pains. No, it's go win now. It's go kick ass now. It's go win and destroy them now. Here's a guy who got cut. He's got to play a major role. Cunningham leaves. Avonte Maddox leaves. You're already down Reed Blankenship, your best safety, leaves. Down Bradbury leaves. No Nakobe Dean, your starting linebacker, leaves. And he'll be gone for weeks. This is what you're dealing with. So you got to realize that some of it will be bad. But all said and done, and all things considered, pretty respectful night. No? I'm not going to cry tonight. I'm going to go to bed very happy. I'm going to bed knowing my team is still undefeated. You know how many teams would love to be in the Eagles' position right now? Jalen, albeit not the biggest leap, I don't think he's seeing the field well passing or running. Looked better passing at the end. It looked better than week 1. And by week 6, week 7, I feel comfortable with saying he'll be back. He'll be back. He's also adjusting to the adjustments made by the league. Bill Belichick and Brian Flores now had fingertips all over a game plan for others to incorporate too. So it's all the offseason, and now it's two of the most intelligent defensive minds. Brian Flores is up there. He's been around the league for a long time in a lot of different roles. Now, other squads can start picking apart what they have done. It's time for Brian Johnson and Nick Sirianni. Sirianni? What accent was that? Nick Sirianni to counter the counter. And that takes a few weeks. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. But 2-0. 2-0, baby. 2-0. Don't be down. All right, don't be dumb. Don't think that the team in September, well, now that's going to dictate what we are in December. It's not the case. Not the case at all. All right, with that, we'll go to the Anytime Hotline and hear how the people are feeling at basically midnight here on the East Coast after that game.
Bro, hey, listen, your boy Nolan here, man. Listen, bro, the Phillies look, my bad. Love the Phillies, but the Eagles look so much better when they fucking give DeAndre Swift the ball. The first half of the game versus the Vikings was a little shaky. I was fucking calling for Brian Johnson's job. Second half looked a lot better, right? We're running the ball. Let's use this fucking O-line that we have. We just looked a lot better when we're giving DeAndre Swift the ball. We don't need to force feed Kenny Gainwell. We need to throw in the double coverage to fucking AJ or Devontae. Not saying that they're not capable, but I'm saying same formula as last year, right? Let's use the run to open up the pass. First half, we kind of struggled. Second half, we figured it out. I'm rocking with the Eagles, man. I think we got it. I'm still a little, the jury is still out on Brian Johnson, but we figured it out this game. We got the win. And I think DeAndre Swift is a no-brainer, man.
He is a no-brainer. The guy runs with his head down, and he's a killer out there. Hopefully he can just stay healthy because there have been some lingering issues with him when he was with Detroit. So it's about the workload and keeping him upright. You're already down Kenneth Gainwell. We know Penny has a similar history. Penne. Oh, I'm saying it like it's pasta. I don't know what's happening. It's late. I am tired. I did take a nap, making sure that I was prepared for this. I did have some caffeine, so I would be ready to rock. But for some reason, I can't speak. I apologize. Anyway, I love the fact that you're honest, though. In the beginning of the game, you're sitting there ready to freak out on Brian Johnson. And me too. The screen passes, some of the third down calls, it's baffling. It's crazy to me that they were even in the game plan to begin with. Let's forget about the screen. Let's forget about trying to incorporate that. It's not working right now. So we'll get back to it later. Try it another day. All right, incorporate something else, maybe a similar formation, and then work off that formation to open up a different play later. I don't know, but I'm sick and tired of some of the decision-making and the soft ideas. Some red zone sequences made me nauseous, and that's on Brian Johnson to learn. I'm not ruling the guy out there, right? You should see the Anytime Hotline text board. Fire Brian Johnson. That's the first thing I saw when I went to go snag some calls for the show. Here it is. We need to fire Brian Johnson. He's overmatched and doesn't know what the hell he's doing. At least have Sirianni call the plays. I'm nowhere even close to giving up on him yet. That's so fraudulent. You don't do that to somebody and give him the respect that he deserves because there was something to the run game element. Now, this text came in. I figured I would check the time. Came in at 9:01. So that's what? 46 minutes into the game. 46 minutes in, get this guy out of town. Dude, it's a different beast up here. And while the expectations are to win, they're winning. They're winning. No one's saying Anyone who's on this side of town, which is using our brain to recognize they're undefeated 2 weeks into the season, not playing their best ball, by the way, which tells you something even more about this team. They sucked game 1 and 1. They were great in, I guess, 2 areas in game 2. Turnovers and running the ball. And they kicked ass. They were in control. Sure, the Vikings held on and they were hanging around. And maybe if you let other teams hang around too long, they make you pay differently because they don't have Kirk Cousins. But there's a lot of good playmakers on the other team that your nobodies held to reasonable stuff. You know, say what you will about some numbers for Jefferson and Hawkinson. They didn't crucify you. I've seen some of them do way more. All right, they had moments. They didn't kill you. And I think that matters. Okay, what's next?
What's up, bros? It's Sam. I am very, very happy about this Eagles win. Great game. Great all-around team win. Jalen and the offense, they had a really bad first quarter. Brian Johnson not making great calls in that first quarter. But the next 3 quarters, pretty much domination. Swift in the running game was so good. They were just excellent today. The offensive line dominated in the run game. I think they need to be a bit better in pass protection.
Yes.
I know there were at least 3 sacks in that first quarter.
Yep.
Hurts was hit a bit too much.
I agree with that.
Brian Johnson, you've also got to get A.J. Brown involved a little bit more. He's just too good for his performance today, especially the defenders going against him, but I'm not that upset. The defense I just love today. I was nervous about it coming in, but they had a really stellar performance. I liked all the individual performances, but Hassan Reddick, you've been a nobody, dude. You've just been a nobody. But all around an excellent win.
I don't like that shot. And if I remember correctly, didn't Hassan have a slower start to last season too? And he's dealing with an injury. It's to his hand, but he is dealing with an injury. I want to go to Hassan Reddick 2022 game log. We remember how fantastic he was last season, right? I don't think anybody forgot about how special he was last season. I just want to make that clear. To start the season off against Detroit, he had no sacks. Against Minnesota in game 2, he had no sacks. He didn't get his first sack until week 3. He had 1.5. So he didn't have any sacks until week 3 of the season. Had a couple tackles. In week 2, 2 tackles, 1 tackle, and 1 assist against Detroit in week 1. Give him a little bit of time. That's what I'm saying. We're very, very quick to rush to all these assumptions in 1 week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks. Let this thing play out. One thing about the broadcast I did like, in the beginning, there was a comment made about what Jalen Carter can be and how they see him being someone that is like Aaron Donald, baby. And I'm like, yeah, you're right. I mean, you guys haven't said a lot of great things, but that one, yeah, you're right. You're right. Oh, are you right? Oh, are you right? I'm just scrolling to see if anything else pops up from Sirianni, but nothing has yet. And, yeah, we'll go to another call.
Well, Rhodes, a win is a win. They're tough to get in the NFL. Got to be happy about 2-0. Definitely still a little worried about Jalen Hurts. I don't know. But, we got to see little moments. That great shot to Devonta was, incredible. Even that shot to A.J. Brown in the corner, it didn't matter, but it was a great throw, great catch. So, offensive line really came together and were able to bolster that incredible run game. So, a lot of good things. Obviously, the defense is just beat to hell, so it's hard to say much about that. Move on to the next. Keep winning games. Go Birds.
Well, they were beat to hell. And they did okay. They did okay. Unless you're a degenerate, upset betting person. Which, if you are my bookie, right? Promo code BRODES. But if you think of the cover, did it cover? Did they not cover? Which way were you? That's the only reason why maybe you're aggravated with what happened towards the end. All right, we'll wrap things up with this because I do see that there's some fear with how A.J. Brown handled things on the sidelines. I don't think that's going to cause any trouble. If you remember, something happened last year very similar. The team was winning. They were in a fantastic spot, and he was on the sidelines pouting. Welcome to being a diva wide receiver in the NFL. You want one of the best talent at that position, you're going to have to deal with it. You don't think Stephon Diggs deals with stuff. You don't think that the Buffalo Bills, him and Josh Allen, the relationship, it's everywhere you go. It's always working this way. Tyreek Hill leaving Kansas City, going to Miami. Antonio Brown, even though that's a whole different circumstance. It's just a diva position, man. It is what it is. And Sirianni says there's going to be ups and downs. And I do know this about this team: they're genuinely like each other. They genuinely like each other, and they genuinely do not want to let each other down. We'll be in a good spot tomorrow and going forward. You're damn right, because I'm not going to cry about someone being mad on the sidelines. They're competitors, man. A.J. Brown wants to ball and wants to win. I got no problem with having that on my team, especially knowing his friendship with Jalen Hurts. This isn't going to break anything, okay? This is a very strong bond. That don't break. You're like brothers. You get into a fight, you hug it out 5 minutes later. The emotions are high. It's because they all care. You want that in the room. You want them to have that type of ambition, if you will. All right, everybody, we'll wrap things up. We'll be talking again very soon, though. We got a whole week to break this puppy down while we wait for the next one. I love you guys all so much. You're the greatest in the world. Subscribe if you are new to the show. Head on over to twitch.tv/Broads Media Gaming. We do incorporate live streams over there, hanging out, playing video games. So join us. Okay, I'll shut up. It's late. Peace.